Hey everyone, welcome to Taste Different Gaming Appetizers. What are we talking about this time? Blue Protocol. You might be wondering, some of you might be wondering, what the hell is Blue Protocol? It's an MMO by Bandai Namco. It came out, not here in the US, but it came out in Japan, and it's been out there for a while. It was going to be released by Amazon Game Studios here in the West. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen because Bandai Namco's ill-fated MMORPG Blue Protocol has officially had a tombstone ordered on its behalf. The company has announced that it will be ceasing service in January of 2025. Means in basic terms that the servers will be shut down and the game will go away. Basically, Bandai Namco announced that the worldwide port of Blue Protocol, which it was being handled by Amazon Games, is also dead. So the Western as well as the Eastern ports, all of the game itself, completely dead. The version of the game was never released here in the West. It had a lot of release windows here in the West, but it kept shifting further and further down the line. So we knew that there was some trouble whenever the release window. I had this game wishlist on Steam, and it was supposed to come out sometime in like the early 2024, and then it got pushed, and then I didn't know when it was going to come out. So basically, why it's shutting down is, unfortunately, it didn't bring the anticipated revenue Bandai Namco was looking for in a financial report. The company vaguely hinted towards the game's lackluster performance before promptly never mentioning it as such a capacity in future reports. Amazon Games, which was behind the planned Western release, has been absolutely silent about the game for nearly a year. As mentioned above, the game was initially targeted a release window for. However, again, like I said, I got pushed back and now has been canceled. There are two interesting points that aren't covered by Bandai Namco's statement. The first is the game's subpar reception. In particular, it proved popular in previews and had a decently sized player base. It seems that in spite of this, the games did not generate the revenue that it wanted. And as part of the games Amazon was tinkering with to make it more palatable for Western audiences, but it looks like even money generating elements didn't generate enough. So basically, whatever they were trying to do, I'm gonna think this was a free to play game. So whatever they were trying to do to monetize just wasn't working out. Plus, I think in Japan or Korea or where it originally released, it just didn't do very well, right? It wasn't doing very well. It was kind of subpar. And that's why the Western release kind of got pushed back, because the Eastern release of the game just wasn't doing well. And they were trying to, from what I had read, they were trying to kind of fix the game up and get it ready for a Western release, trying to work the kinks out and get it popular. So that way a Western release would be, hit the ground running type thing, but it just never happened. Amazon Games appears to potentially have pulled the rug out from under it a bit here. Lost Ark, the last big MMO Amazon ported over to the Western release. Amazon did some serious work on that game. The publisher tweaked the monetization, had QA testers and translation teams and live service teams all working at various stages. Amazon Games as a company invested lots of resources into Lost Ark, which is why it obviously took a cut from sales and transactions for it. A similar argument was likely in place for Blue Protocol. By the time it was played last year, it had all its translation work done on it, and one of the senior leads of a whole team working on it. It would have received, here it would have received the same treatment as Lost Ark, as far as what Amazon Games did, all the support and translation and QA and everything like that. The monetization changes, because there are a big difference between monetization over on the Eastern side of things compared to the Western side of things, right? Over in Korea or Japan, the monetization practices are a lot different than here. So that stuff has to be kind of changed up. And that's what they did with Lost Ark. Lost Ark is still pretty popular over here. I remember playing it when it came out. It's a pretty fun MMO, not too bad. And I was really looking forward to Blue Protocol. I liked the art style and stuff because it had like Bandai Namco's like Tales kind of series looking art style and stuff like that. But unfortunately, the game just clearly just didn't hit the revenue marks that Bandai Namco was hoping for. And sadly, we'll never get a release of that game here in the West. And well, that game's never going to go on past where it's at today. So it is what it is, but MMOs come and go. That's the problem with MMOs is it's really hard for them to stick around and gain a footing. And I don't know what Bandai Namco is expecting, especially with a brand new game. It's really hard to get a brand new MMO off the ground, no matter where you are, right? And especially if it's free to play and you're trying to, focus on monetization, you really got to give users a reason to buy monetization within your game, right? You can't just throw out cool monetization and hope that the community will go in and start buying it. You have to have a good game too, right? If you have a subpar game and you're hoping the monetization will save that subpar game, it's more likely not going to, right? A lot of games suffer from focusing too much on the monetization side of things and not focusing on making the game and making the game fun. You make the game fun and then you monetize it, right? Because then people will play it because it's a fun game and they love it. And then they're like, oh, I can buy this skin or whatever, and they're like, okay, because the game itself is a lot of fun. Helldivers is a good example of a really fun game where the game itself is a ton of fun to play and you don't have to buy anything, but you almost feel like, and that game's not free, but it is cheaper than a full price game. But when you're playing it, you kind of feel like, I don't mind throwing a few bones their direction, for some cosmetics or whatever, because I feel like I'm getting a lot out of this game. This game's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play. But if you give me a subpar game and then expect me to shell out, $10, $20 for a skin or something, I'm not going to do that, right? Because I'm just not going to put as much time into your game because your game doesn't give me I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of it, right? Or even for a free play, I don't feel like I'm getting my time worth out of it, right? So that's kind of how that works. That's the way I feel about it. But let's go around and see what these guys think. Shane, what do you think, buddy? Tell me your feelings.
It sucks. I don't know. I hate, even if it's not a me game or if it's an amazing me game, I just hate to see any game die. Granted, it's an MMO. I am not Mr. MMO by any means, because those games require three things: willingness to spend money, a lot of time, and dedication to just one game. I can't do that. I'm a game whore. I'd like to see other games. I'll return sometimes, but I like to just wander around and play other stuff. It's just who I am. I'm built that way. But I also have a severe addiction issue to things, especially games. So if I start something like this, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have grandkids before I turn it off. So I don't want that, or grandkids, honestly. I didn't realize the Amazon tie till this came out. And I didn't know a lot about this game until this article. So, and then, reading through and, finding out, oh, Amazon's a big part of it, because I know Amazon's really wanting to get into the gaming business. So, I don't know. I mean, Amazon's got the money. If they feel confident enough, hell, buy it up. You try to keep it going. See if you can do any better. Why not? Because it's, if they felt strongly enough the first time, maybe if they think, all right, you know what, we'll include it with Prime. You get some TV, you get some movies, you get some MMO. You can just run it that way. Plus, maybe you get 10% off your shipping. I don't know. It does suck though. I hate when anything goes down like this. Uh, it's just not very long. Getting a game like this, like you said, off the ground and everything, it's hard. And a lot of games keep trying old things that people have been making money on, and they fail. They can't find that magic touch. They can't find the niche that just drags people back to it, like Fortnite does and WoW and things like that. It's very, very hard. You gotta be willing to, invest time and money and resources into something that that you hope catches that fire like those other games. So it's rough to see, and I hate seeing anything close down because that affects people. I'm not a people person, but when it comes to people losing their jobs and livelihoods, things like that, I don't know the full extent of what this is going to mean. But when a game goes down, it's never a good thing. So, R.I.P. R.I.P. Pat, what about you, buddy? R.I.P.
Yeah, I wonder if Amazon's going to get paid. If Bandai Namco has to reimburse Amazon for all the work and stuff they put into it, and that kind of makes me wonder if they just decided that since the game was a failure in the East, that it's going to be a failure in the West.
If they don't pay back, how is Jeff Bezos going to buy lunch?
Well, Jeff Bezos doesn't run the company anymore, so I don't think he cares, right?
Oh, he makes his money still.
I mean, he probably does, right? I don't know. I don't know who he's going. So, I mean, he has a share ownership, right? But I think he's been selling off a lot of his ownership. So I think he has less than 10% last I heard. So he's not a majority owner anymore in it. So he probably could care less at this point, I don't know. So the only thing that looked cool to me with this is that it had a lot of anime cutscenes. I watched some videos when it was over in Japan. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, but at the same time, I have done a few games like that since then. And I'm like, I get a little bored waiting for if the anime is boring. And what I heard about this is that it lacked impact. The anime was just kind of meh. So I'm like, so I may have been bored trying to wait on it. Right. So I don't know. I kind of wonder if Amazon got like a clause in their contract that if they invested in it, or is it just like always like a risk adventure, right? That I would say there should be a clause in that contract that if the game comes out and it's a flop, then it is what it is. That's an investment. That's a risk investment. But if you pull the plug before it releases to get us a chance to recoup the money, then you owe us all the money back that we've invested. That's what I would have done. I'd have been like, so the only risk we're doing is that the game could release and be garbage. Because it, as Nick said, it was a free-to-play game, which free-to-play game only means free to download, right? You can play it as much as you want, but if you want ease of playing, then you're going to have to monetize. You're going to have to give them some money. And from what I understand over in Japan, they are more more willing to pay to have in-app purchases, where over here in the US we're still quite adverse to it. And I wouldn't say everybody is, but there's a majority. I don't even know if it's majority, but a large chunk of the gamers are adverse to doing in-app purchases in a game. So those free-to-play games don't technically do so well. But I guarantee you, if Bandai came to Amazon and said, hey, we can't pull this off without either some help, or maybe Amazon would have just been like, let's release it as is and see how it does, at least try, because, Amazon's not adverse to releasing hot garbage. I mean, look at New World when it first came out. So, it was a buggy mess, a nightmare of a game, and it's gone through iterations and major changes. So, it is weird, but Bandai Namco is one of those, I don't know. I always feel like if it's not mainstream anime, Bandai Namco is like, yeah, we're not going to pump too much. We're not going to have too much interest in this. Everything they seem to do is like either a tried and true IP or an anime that is the shit. So that's the hot talk of anime right now. And so they're like, we can make a game on that. Dragon Ball, we'll make a game on that. Yeah, easy, because it's the same formula. They just tell the same story in the anime. They just let you play it out. So, it is weird. And I kind of want to hear about deals from how the deal worked from Amazon side, but I was not that interested in playing it outside of the fact for the anime, because the combat is the overly stylized action Eastern style combat, which in an MMO can be fun, but it can also be just boring because it just becomes repetitive. And at the same time, you're just like wanting to get in and kill stuff and get things going. And then, there's all about check out my overly stylized combat that's just, spins and flips and kicks and twirls and magic going off, which is cool. It's fun and it is fun, but their games tend to be overly grindy too. So, and a free to play game is entirely overly grindy because they have to keep you engaged for the longest time possible. And to lessen that grind, we need you to send us $19.99 today, or $49.99 if you're feeling froggy. And we even have a $100 package. I don't know what their monetization, but some of those games have $100 monetization packages plus, so I am one of those people who don't like free to play games for the monetization fact. I feel like free to play games with monetization packages is just like gambling light, because I think it triggers that same receptors in people's brains, that addictive receptors of spending money to get something or get a chance at something. Because as much as loot boxes are not a gamble, you can buy skins and stuff like that, but you buy packs and hope to unlock something else, right? Like you're like, I want to get this costume, and if I can't buy it out directly, you're buying a chance to get it, and I feel like that triggers in some people's brains an addictive response of like, and before you realize it, you've spent $1,000 on a free game and you're like, what? But at the same time, people do that in a pay to play game. Like I'll use WoW as a perfect example. WoW is you have to pay for the game, you have to pay a monthly subscription fee, and then they have in-game purchases too, like skins and things like that. And they have things like character transfers, race transfers, all kinds of stuff that cost money. And when I was younger, I spent a shit ton on WoW. I had a monthly subscription to WoW when I was younger. I had a bunch of characters. And then I remember when my buddies were playing and they were on a different server and I was playing Horde and they were playing Alliance. And I'm like, I don't want to start over. I want to bring these 3 characters I already got, but they're on Horde. So you have to pay for a server transfer for 3 characters and then a race transfer for 3 characters. And you're just like, or a faction transfer, right? So I can see what that is. Now that I'm older, I don't do that. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. And WoW has kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit with that by making everything cross realm, cross faction. Like, unless you just really want a different faction to play, there's no point in it anymore. You're on one realm, you can play with another person way realm over here. And if they're on opposite factions, Horde or Alliance, you can still play with them. So, they've done things to kind of negate that. But they spent hundreds of dollars on that game. So, and that was a pay to play game. So that's why I don't really like the free to play games, because you can get in worse trouble, right? You're like, you think about it because my brain will rationalize this. Like, hey, I paid $15 a month for WoW. I could buy this pack for $15. It's the same thing. As long as I'm playing it for the same amount of time, it's cost effective, right? And then your brain will turn around and go, but I also paid $60 for WoW. So I can buy a $60 pack worth of crap in this game. And next thing you know, you've spent $75 on the game. And you're like, well, but I would have paid for a faction transfer. And you're like, I'll just turn $25, and you get yourself in the hole. And next thing you know, in 1 month, you spent $200 on this game. And then you do the same thing the next month. So to me, it's a corporation preying on people's attitudes and emotions and things like that. And that's all it really is, right? There is tons of science in how to make a monetized free to play game and how to make people spend money in your game. And, Diablo Immortals was a perfect example of that. You can get everything you can in there, but it's going to take you forever. But if you pay us money, we'll make you get there quicker, right? So it's that instant gratification instead of the slow and steady path. So that's why I tend not to play these games, because you can easily get your mind into the process of spending money in those games. So I don't do it because I could justify It's $15. About $15 pack. And next thing you know, you realize you bought that pack 4 times in a month, and you're like, oh, I just spent $60 on a mobile game. So I don't play the mobile games because it's too easy to get yourself into trouble. So I'm not. I don't know. Blue Protocol was iffy in my books. I probably would have tried it. It was on my wish list too, I believe, because I saw the anime and wanted to check it out. But I do not know how to feel one way or the other on it. I'm like, did I dodge a bullet? But it was free. I would have got to play it. I would at least put a couple hours into it to determine if I liked it or not. But I won't get that opportunity now.
Yep.
Could have got the Jeff Bezos skin.
Yeah, I could have got the bald Jeff Bezos skin for my character.
Got my Krillin
cosplay.
Well, we got Throne and Liberty to look forward to, right? That's the next free-to-play game. Comes out in October, so played the beta for that one. I enjoyed that one pretty good. But yeah, it sucks. I was looking forward to Blue Protocol. I don't know if it would have been a good game or not. You know, it could just. I like the visual style, the anime look style of it, but it could have ended up being a crap game, right? It takes more than just style and look for it to be a good game. So some of those, I've played some animes that, or some MMOs that are anime like that, you know, have the anime style and stuff, and most of them are not very good. But the art style is really cool. So it is what it is. So you never know, but it sucks that, you know, we won't get to play it here in the West, because I was looking forward to at least trying it out. But it is what it is. You know, MMOs are hard to stay afloat. And, you know, like I said, some do and a lot don't. So it's really hard to keep an anime up, or not anime, but MMO, I mean, up in the air. It takes a lot of resources and a lot of investment, you know, and you've got to be good with the monetization stuff, right? Free to play, or if you pay to play your game, you know, if you want to monetize your game, I understand that's just how the things are nowadays, but you got to do it right? You can't just, if you do it wrong, you're going to, you know, even if your game is fun, you're going to get people playing for a while, but then and maybe that's what they want, you know, because the only people that stick around afterwards is the whales, right? They stick around and buy, you know, they buy up all the pay to win stuff. So that's the only people playing anymore. But that's what the companies want. They want those whales to come in and start, you know, throwing all that money in the pot. And then everybody else, you know, the game never gets any new players because of that, but they keep the game afloat. So I guess it doesn't matter. So I don't know. Anybody, you guys got anything else you want to add to this?
Nope. Good luck to the people that made it.
Yep. All right. Well, let us know down in the comments what you all think. Were you looking forward to Blue Protocol? Are you looking forward to Throne and Liberty, or are you too busy playing The War Within or Final Fantasy 14, or, you know, what MMOs are you playing right now? I'm playing none, even though I'd like to play The War Within. I want to play John Trail, the new expansion for Final Fantasy. I want to play Throne and Liberty when it comes out here in October. So I would like to be playing a lot of MMOs. I just don't have the time. If I could split myself into several people, then I would be playing all of them. But I don't.
I'll grab an axe.
Because, you know, I know Pat's playing
Long ways
War
or
Within.
short ways?
I know Pat's playing War Within. I played the last expansion, and I enjoyed Dragon Flight, and I enjoyed that. And then, you know, I really want to play with the War Within, but I'm just like, man, I got too many other games I'm playing right now. I don't have time to invest in it. Even though I do want to play it. So, because everyone's saying it's pretty good. So I'm like, well, you know, I want to try it out. And I like Dragonflight pretty well. I got a lot, you know, I did all the story quests and everything like that in there, and got all to the end game and was doing the dailies and stuff like that before I stopped playing. So, you know, so I enjoyed that. So I don't know. WoW, the War Within, I'll probably end up buying it, I'm sure, at some point, and start playing it, even though I got too many other things to play. But anywho, let us know down in the comments below, what MMOs do you play? What are you looking forward to? Let us know down in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed watching. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Do us a favor. Help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. We will see you next time.
See ya.